Alright, so I have a few things to talk about, mostly growing up, but I'm gonna go through a couple things in my life right now. Actually, just one. I went to my second therapist appointment, but it was kind of a little useless. Like, I thought I was gonna get the psychological test, but for some reason I didn't get that then. I don't know if I'm gonna get it at my third appointment, but I really hope I don't have to have more than 3 because I can't afford that. Like, I seriously have just enough money to fucking go to my appointments, and I don't even have tea money. Like, I'm just hoping my mom will be able to pay for that. It's pretty much only like 30 minutes long, and she pretty much told me that, you know, it was okay to not tell people about my transsexuality and not have to explain myself and, like, share personal information. That's pretty much all we talked about. So hopefully the third one will wrap it up and she'll give me my letter. Anyway, I really want to talk about growing up because I'm definitely, I know and I can tell that I'm growing up. I guess, like, technically I started puberty, like, when I was 8, because that's when, like, I started developing. But, I didn't really, like, have an emotional change until, like, 13 or something, you know? So, I guess, like, I've been going to puberty for, like, 5 years or whatever, but I just feel like now that, like, it's starting to, like, stop, like, I'm post-pubescent, or whatever the fuck, I don't even know what pubescent means. I'm, like, finishing my puberty, and I think it's interesting that I'm about to start my new puberty because, or my second puberty, my male puberty, because I'm not really gonna have time to be perceived as a woman or an adult woman, which I'm fine with, because one cool thing is that I will have time to be perceived as a young man while actually being a young man. Like, you know, like, there's a lot of trans guys that, like, you know, they're kind of, they're an adult, but they're starting transition, but they're perceived as a young man, or if they're not, if they're old enough to actually not be perceived as a young man, they just never really got to be a young man. They were a young woman, and then they were perceived as a woman, and then now they just have to go straight to manhood. I think it'll be fun to be a young man. Like, I think, like, the past few months I've been trying to, like, live as a boy and not have too much responsibilities, but, you know, I'm just kind of, I'm getting over the fact that, you know, I can't have a boyhood, so I'm trying to, you know, grow up now. But, like, I've been changing my thinking, like, a lot, like, especially, like, last year, like, 2009, like, that was my biggest growing up year. Like, 17 and 18, like, I know that I'm definitely nowhere near, you know, actually being an adult, but, like, that's when I, like, started growing up, you know? Like, I don't think puberty was really me growing up. That was pretty much just, like, my body growing up and me going through some weird experiences so that I could grow up, you know? And so I think it's interesting because, like, I feel like nobody really talks about growing up, really. Like, you know, like, when people talk about growing up, they, like, talk about, you know, how they think differently, or, like, I don't know, how they think differently, but they don't really talk about the process, you know, or they don't talk about how they used to think, or, I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but, like, I feel like nobody really talks about the actual process of growing up. They're like, oh yeah, when you're a teenager, you're invincible, and then you realize things, and you take it, blah, 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 and, but, like, what about, like, right now? Like, they, you know, some people talk about being freaked out, but I'm not necessarily, like, freaked out. Like, I am, of course, a little freaked out about growing up and being on my own, but I'm also kind of, like, just starting to not be freaked out by everything, you know? Like, things that were a big deal to me when I was going through puberty or when I was a kid are not such a big deal anymore. Like, I've got, like, my life was just, like, one big mess. Like, everything was all crazy. Like, it was just, like, I don't know, just, like, a bunch of problems all put together and, like, blah. But, like, now I've got, like, my life is, like, a timeline. It's not, like, just, like, one big paper full of mixed up things. It's, like, a timeline. Bad imagery, I know. But, like, I've got, like, these goals, set goals, and, like, everything in between is just, like, life, you know, whatever. Like, I enjoy things during these things, but I'm not, like, you know, I don't know. Never mind, that was bad. But, like, I just feel like I have goals, I'm gonna get to them, but I'm not freaked out, and while I can get freaked out, I'm not permanently freaked out. Like, I've had enough weird experiences in my life and fucked up, not necessarily, like, horrible experiences, like, I've had a pretty good life, but I've had so many changes, like, weird changes in my life, and, like, abrupt changes, and kind of, like, bad changes in my life, that I've gotten to the place now where I realize that I'll survive, you know? Like, I kind of feel sorry for, like, the people I know who've, like, all the way up until, like, the age of 18, they've had the same stable life. Like, you know, everybody has things that happen, like, their relatives die, or, like, you know, they'll move or something, but, like, some of these people, like, that I know, like, they don't really have, like, the big changes that I've had, like, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it. I've just, like, I just feel like some people have had, like, these stable lives, so, like, when they do have to grow up, they freak out a lot, and they just, like, sometimes they just, like, I feel like they conform to what they have to because they don't know what else to do. But, like, me, I see, like, all these people that I know, and, like, they don't have, like, the normal American life. Like, they're either really poor and they have to they have to, like, pretty much live day to day, like, not know what's going on. And then I have these other people that, like, they just, like, don't give a shit at all. They're, like, you know, I've had, like, the traveler kid friends. I just, like, realized that, like, you know, life isn't just a timeline. Like, well, you know, for me it's feeling more like one. Like, it's not just like, oh, you do this and then you do that and then your life is good and you're good. No, like, that's not how life is at all. Like, life is more of an adventure than you'd think it would be. Okay, I'm just getting corny with it now, but, like, I always thought that, you know, once I grew up, I'd be able to go to college and I'd be able to get a job and that, like, my life would be stable. But now that I'm realizing that it's not, like, it's not like, you know, you can just, like, go and apply for a job and instantly get it. Like, you don't know what job you can get, especially not in like, a recession, you know? Like, I don't think that really matters. Like, you could still get a job. But I just never realized that there's so many, like, everything is fucking ambiguous, and everything is just, it's just a big gray area. I'm so confused right now. Like, I thought I was figuring things out, but I think I'm just confusing myself more. So hopefully next time I won't be on these necks and kind of like, so, I'm sorry for this video. I'm not sorry for this video. I'll see you guys later. And, maybe the next time I see you, I'll be on tea or something. I know it's probably a couple months away, but I probably won't have anything interesting to talk about. So, see you guys later.